Diwali this weekend.
The BC Nurses Union president says frontline burnout is more prevalent now more than ever amidst rising professional demands and surging COVID cases.
A dire warning from Canada's top doctor. The country could see 10,000 daily COVID-19 cases in just a few weeks. The Prime Minister says the country needs to reverse this trend now, or difficult decisions will have to be made.
The Abbotsford golfers Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin are trying to cement their spot in the weekend field with round 2 of the Masters well underway. Sports at 45.
And Richard Southern has your business coming up at 1:56.
News 11:30 time, 1:31.
To the traffic center in Matt Coppin. Well, Curtis, the major routes are problem-free. There's no delay for the Massey Tunnel, Alex Fraser, or for the Port Mann Bridge. Highway 1, no delay for the Burnaby Lake stretch, although there was a car that went off the road on the Willingdon off-ramp from Highway 1 westbound, and no delay so far as the visual distraction for the off-ramp. When crews arrive, we'll see what happens. Now, the ironworkers, you're looking good, but something happening now southbound, halfway down the cut. I'm just seeing this. It's between Lynn Valley and Mountain Highway, southbound, seeing a delay. Any more updates on that problem to star 1130. And in Vancouver, watch out for a crash on 41st Avenue, eastbound at Earl Street, and you're seeing a delay east and west right now. Take 45th or 49th instead as your alternate route. Anything else to star 1130. Traffic for Drainmaster. Drainmaster is your trenchless expert, specializing in water lines, sewer lines, and drain tile repairs without digging a trench. Visit drainmasterstrenchless.com. Well, the weather took a turn for the not bad. Let's go to the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center now and check in with meteorologist Michael Coos.
It sure did. We thought we'd see some sunshine today with the wind, and we do have both. The rain lingered a little longer, almost into the late morning for a good chunk of the area. Now that rain's totally confined to central and eastern valley sections, and we're still talking about snow around the region. Snowing up in Whistler, some snow coming down once you get past Hope, up over the Coquihalla, and in the canyon as well. So not great traveling over the mountain passes. Of course, winter tires are mandatory this time of year. We do have sunshine across the lower mainland and lots more to come through the afternoon. Still looking at 3 hours until sunset. Daytime temperatures are still at or a little bit below average, climbing to 8 degrees this afternoon. Drops down to 3 overnight with the cloud moving back in toward tomorrow morning. It should be dry through the morning on Saturday. It's the afternoon, mid to late afternoon. We're definitely looking at the return of the rain with a high of 8 degrees. That rain stretches into Sunday morning with a drier Sunday afternoon. The high on Sunday up to 10 degrees. Currently in Coquitlam, it's 7. It's 7 degrees as well in West Vancouver under the sunshine. Your daytime high is warm as 8.
News 11:30 time, 1:33.
This is News 1130 team coverage.
It's a dire warning from the Canadian medical community. We are at a tipping point.
News 1130's Paul James reports Canada's doctors are warning of a COVID-19 crisis in the healthcare system, which doesn't show any signs of going away anytime soon. The warning from the Canadian Medical Association is blunt, to the point. The measures being taken to mitigate the virus are not sufficient. CMA goes on to say the healthcare system and everyone who works in it is getting the short end of the stick. This comes as data modeling expert Caroline Colin warns our political leaders, particularly here in BC, continue to find themselves in a difficult situation.
And I suspect that's why we're testing the waters with, maybe if we ask people to stop socializing in their homes, that'll work.
All of this, the warnings and the political discussions, come as we head into a weekend where the South Asian community, already struggling with high COVID case counts, will be celebrating Diwali. I'm Paul James.
Frontline healthcare workers in this province are finding it hard to find a work-life balance these days, and they're feeling burnt out because of the rising case numbers.
Dr. Kathleen Ross, president of Doctors of BC, says physicians still haven't fully emotionally and physically recovered from the first wave of the pandemic.
It's important to note that physician burnout across Canada was actually already an issue even before the pandemic.
Christine Sorensen, president of the BC Nurses Union, says nurses need time to rest and recover due to a shortage of workers.
And nurses are burning out. They're getting sick. 40% of our nurses are reporting serious signs of depression, and nearly 60% of our nurses are on track to have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Sorensen adds they're particularly concerned about the nurse shortage in the ICU and emergency areas. I'm Bethlehem Merriam.
Canada's daily COVID-19 case count could hit 10,000 in just a few weeks, and the Prime Minister says we need to control the spread now before more difficult decisions need to be made.
Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Teresa Tam says we're on track to hit that grim 10,000 a day mark by early December. And the recent surge in the spread of this virus is due to informal social gatherings inside and outside homes. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says this should be a wake-up call for Canadians to do what's necessary to stop the spread. He's also urging provinces to put in place the necessary restrictions and lockdowns, saying the feds will be there to support them, but resources like personal protective equipment are not unlimited.
Cases spike too much. We might have to make really difficult choices about where to deploy the limited resources we have.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Well, the country's two biggest provinces are not setting COVID-19 records today, but their situation isn't exactly improving. Ontario's reporting almost 1,400 new infections today, 17 deaths as well. Quebec, 1,300 new cases and 30 more deaths. Meanwhile, Stats Canada is revealing that 30% of businesses don't know if they can keep going without laying off workers, closing, or declaring bankruptcy. That's according to a survey. Nearly 20% say they'll have to take drastic action in less than half a year as a second wave sweeps from coast to coast.
It was 11:30, time 1:36. Looks like we're done with the rain for now, although we can expect a windy afternoon, gusting up to 59 kilometers an hour right now at YVR, and we'll have Michael Coos with more in just a few minutes.
We're mostly sunny right now and windy as well, 6 degrees downtown.
You may not want to drive out of town this weekend. Travel in and out of the Lower Mainland is restricted because of COVID-19, but there are also weather warnings east and west of us. Dave Duncan with Yellowhead Road and Bridge says his trucks are clearing the Coquihalla because of a snowstorm.
For anyone that doesn't have to travel for essential services, this is not the time probably to be up there.
Meantime, on the island, a wind warning is up for Victoria right now. Astrid Chang with BC Ferries says it's not clear yet how the weather and restrictions could affect them.
We're certainly keeping an eye on our traffic numbers over the weekend.
Gusts on the island could get up to 90 kilometers an hour this afternoon.
If you're thinking about getting winter tires this year, you might want to do it sooner rather than later. An online tire retailer in Quebec says there's a shortage in some parts of this country, including some tire places here in the Lower Mainland.
COVID-19 means many snowbirds will have to spend the winter in Canada, and that in turn means an increase in online shopping and demand for winter tire installation. Plus, precautions are still in place in some shops because of the second wave of COVID-19, and there was also a slowdown in tire production at the beginning of this year. So all of this could translate into a shortage of tires and delays in delivery for certain brands and sizes. PMC Tire says the volume of online sales achieved in 2020 represents twice the level of growth of the last few years, which was already significant. I'm Chris McCusker.
Stateside, new restrictions taking effect today in New York.
All restaurants, bars, and gyms statewide will have to close at 10 p.m.
This just puts a nail in the coffin for some places.
Teresa De La Haba is the owner of McSorley's Pub in New York. Closing at 10, she feels, will knock out a lot of businesses.
That we're hoping to just hang in until, December and then reevaluate.
Many were hoping holiday business could bail them out. Derek Teague with the Forget-Me-Not bar thinks closing at 10 may be just the start.
We look at the model in London, model in Ireland, the rest of Europe. These restrictions kind of come in gradually, and then, we're just hoping that we're not going to get shut down completely.
The state of New York is also barring private gatherings of more than 10 people. I'm Ed Donahue.
Well, stay in the U.S. The Trump campaign is ending its voter fraud hotline and downsizing staff as it tries to grapple with the election defeat.
President Trump's team continues to search for evidence of voter fraud, but the voter fraud hotline number is no more, with the campaign now directing people to its online form instead, multiple sources tell ABC News. This comes as the hotline was getting flooded with prank calls and lewd images are being sent to the online form. The Trump campaign has significantly downsized its staff, with only a small number of staffers receiving an extension through the end of the month. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Washington.
You're listening to News 1130, Vancouver's breaking news, traffic, and weather station.
Ottawa is giving federally regulated companies at least 3 years to develop plans to give female employees equal pay for work of equal value of that performed by men. Companies that may see their payroll costs go up by more than 1% because of the move would get extra time. Canada's Labour Minister accepts it can't happen overnight and that the change will be transformational. The proposal posted by the feds just today, it estimates achieving pay equity will cost regulated private sector employees $1.95 billion over 10 years.
1:40 now at News 1130 and back at home after that massive fire destroyed some of New Westminster's Pier Park. The portion that survived the inferno is still closed. It'll stay that way until February, and business owners there, they're not impressed.
Stephanie Vu owns Old Crow Coffee Co. on Front Street.